Hi, my name is Dan, and this video is one in a short series of videos that I'm doing about RPG mechanics that relate to character and character progression for video games, and it's part of a larger suite of videos that I'm making on video game design issues and principles. And in this one, I'm following on from the previous one, which is talking about XP and levels, which is a very standard way of doing things in RPGs for character progression. And I want to look at just a few other alternatives for character progression that can be used in RPGs or other settings. So here we go. So the first one is to just use gear. And for the equipment that gets unlocked or can be developed or enhanced or all sorts of things like that, to be the main way in which your character progresses and gets stronger. This potentially allows less progression or a larger, smaller scale of improvement, but not necessarily, depending on how wide-reaching your gear is that you use. And you can do things like stop gear from being unlocked until later on in the game if you want, or just control prices and control your economy to make your progress work. So the second one is individual skills, and I searched. Here's a little side thing, a little window into my world as a video maker, which is where I've come from as a lecturer. And I spent quite a long time trying to find an image which would represent this. I've got in my head memories of playing skateboarding games and other extreme sport games back in the PS2 eras when I used to play that kind of thing. Yes, I'm quite old. And you as you used individual skills, it would skill them up. And I wanted to find an image that showed that, and I found Skyrim. So Skyrim does do this, but Skyrim also has leveling and XP as well. So it's not pure, just skill-based progression thing in Skyrim. But there must still be games out there. It's just finding the right search teams to get the right images. So that was that. And the next one is to use a different progress driver. XP and leveling gives you a feeling of progress, and it gives you various hooks and numbers that you can use for progress and progression. There are other ways of doing progress. I did a video that's already up on my site, which is about timeline and progress in video games. And if you want to know more, I suggest you check that one out. But it is certainly possible to use different drivers for your progress. So one of them is for your story to be unfolding, if you've got a very linear story. So you could tie in your character progression into your story, and at various points in your story have things given to the player or enhancements to the player, which could be part of the story. You could build that in to part of the narrative as to how this character the player is experiencing playing goes from being a weedy person who can barely stand up to a giant rat to the person who can kill the dragon, and there are encounters along the way that could have given them these enhancements that bring them to that point. It could be spatial, so you could, as they get into new areas, you could unlock new abilities and new things for them. Spatially driven games, there's a lot of them around. RPGs tend not to be quite like this, but who says you have to use this for an RPG? And then quest rewards. So again, it's a more RPG-like kind of thing, and maybe it's strongly tied to your story as well. It's a similar idea to the story driver. If you can think of other drivers, then obviously you can use those. Okay, so that's three different ways of tackling player progress, but there are more. And so my number 4 is for you to invent something new or to find something else from somewhere else. There's probably a plethora of stuff out there that you could draw inspiration from. I'm bringing inspiration through here and a suggestion. What about deck building? I don't know if you've ever played a deck building card game, as in real life cards, or on a computer version. But deck building is a progression system that's been started to be used quite famously in the card game Dominion, but there are other card games that are available. What about bringing that through into video games and using it as a way of progressing? Anyway, that's some thoughts, and that's it from me for now.